Welcome to Metamorphosis with Dr. Tassel Faith. In the next hour, you will embark on a journey to awaken your inner identity, remember the truth of who you are, and come home to yourself. Enter your transformative chrysalis, experience the fundamental change you need, and emerge a leader for your own life and for the planet. Align with your spirit and become the being you were always meant to be. Leap fearlessly into the powerful change awaiting you. Transform your world naturally and supernaturally. Lead with your magic, trust the unseen, experience quantum leaps. Metamorphosis begins now.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Tassel Faith, your priestess of metamorphosis, and you're listening to the Metamorphosis Show on the Transformation Talk Network. Please stay with us over the next hour and let us help you facilitate your own amazing personal metamorphosis. And it is just the most amazing honor and joy to welcome my guest, Lucas Diamond. And if it's okay, I'm just going to start with reading your amazing bio, if that's okay, Lucas?
Absolutely.
Okay. Lucas Diamond is an integrated mastery coach, quantum healing facilitator, and co-founder of Divine Union Alchemy. His overall focus is supporting individuals to actualize full spectrum life mastery, and he also specializes in supporting divine union couples to come together and thrive. Lucas spent a decade training with various masters in 33 countries before creating his own system of quantum healing and integrated mastery. He has been training healers for over 15 years and coaching for a decade. He and his wife, Saskia, share the purpose to help people attract their divine union partners and actualize their full spiritual liberation and mission. Amazing. I adore your work and your beingness, and I'm just thrilled to sit with you for this time period.
Thank you for the invitation to be here with you, and I really appreciate you, and send my love to all the audience members as well.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So if it's okay, I'll just start by saying that I first came across you and your amazing body of work through an interview with Jen McCarty on Facebook, and Jen was saying the same things that I was feeling. I was listening to what you were saying, and I just thought, I haven't really heard so many masculines speaking in this way, and I was just very blown away and was really glued to the interview. And then I joined your amazing Divine Union Alchemy course myself, and it's been amazing. And yes, what you're bringing to the world it just feels so sacred, so pure, so next level consciousness. How did you get here, Lucas? How did you come into all of this?
Well, I would say like many of us, we come in with this beautiful, pure, innocent, little beautiful baby Buddha, happy, joyful presence.
Yeah.
Then throughout the course of our parents perhaps not being fully aligned with their heart, or there being some ancestral trauma that gets passed down, boom, I got shut down. Traumatic things happened. I became shy, fearful, codependent, all the things that happen to most humans.
Yeah.
And then at 14 years old, I had this opening of my heart. You can call it a Satori Experience, where I experienced an expansion of myself to really connect to the aspect of me on that higher dimensional plane that is in unity, is in oneness, is in the frequency of love and transcendent consciousness, however you would want to call that illuminated state. I glimpsed it just for a few seconds, but it created this sense of, as I was returning home to a sense of awareness that I had known on a soul level, and then my consciousness quickly shrank back. And as I was shrinking back down the dimensional realms and size back into this planetary third dimensional plane into my body, I experienced this ache, the feeling the pain of humanity, and becoming aware of how much trauma has happened here beyond what I could fathom to humans and in my ancestry. And it also popped me open to how much personal trauma, codependence, enmeshment that as a 14-year-old boy I had to resolve in this incarnation. So that's what launched me on my self-help mission, and I say that with quotes because I became addicted to self-help and empowerment, healing, consciousness work of every kind. Every free moment outside of school, I was dedicated to that. And there's a couple of paths that I've come to. I just want to briefly say here, is a lot of self-help work and a lot of spiritual lineages and teachers, gurus, religions have infiltrations. So there's two kinds of infiltrations. The basic infiltration makes us plugs into the feeling that we're not enough and we have to fill a void, and we go on an endless journey of seeking, going from one thing to the next, always looking from the outside in, trying to think that there's a special key, there's a special shortcut, there's a special teacher. I just need to go here and go there. And that's what happened to me. My own sense of inadequacy and not being enough got me addicted to this ongoing path. And then along the way, I got initiated into so many different spiritual lineages, taking on both the wisdom blessings and the karmic and twilight distortions. When I say twilight distortions, lots of master teachers, even if they might be super powerful, super like beautiful channelers, healers, are contracted and working with both high angelic beings and also false light beings who are appearing to be angelic, but are working in a kind of disguised way to siphon people's energy and get into this planet to siphon. So I became host to all of it. It took me many, many years, Dr. Tassel, to unweave myself from all the distortions and come back into a place of sovereignty, spiritual, emotional, mental sovereignty, where I said, hey, I actually am enough. The divine connection comes direct to me. And in order for that to happen, I became a teacher, guru myself. I had followers in Japan, and I had to be shaken up. My masculine ego had to be shaken up with a 9.1 earthquake. I was in Sendai when the Fukushima, when the 9.1 earthquake, 2011, March 11th, when that hit, we were in Sendai teaching a course, guiding my students into the heart of the earth, beating a drum to the heartbeat of the earth. When that earthquake started, I was guiding everyone into the core of the earth to meet our power animals. The earthquake started, everything starts shaking. By the way, I'm very personified in the top dog consciousness, which happens with a lot of men, but not just men. It happens with spiritual evolving beings as they reach a certain level of consciousness, and they start getting this hit. Okay, you're a leader, you're a teacher, you're a guru. People are giving you energy. It's intoxicating. It's intoxicating to have a couple hundred people giving you this pedestal, and you walk into the room, everyone lights up and they give you energy. When you receive that energy, it fills your voids, it overflows in your being, and you grow huge. Now you walk around with this huge energy body because you've allowed other people to give you their power. You're siphoning their power, and there's an exchange, and then you're blanketing over them a protection, a guidance. You've just created your own ascension matrix based on you being the top dog. That's what I did. All that came crashing down because I realized in this evolutionary cycle, while that may have served a purpose, this kind of guru disciple transmission down the lineage. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. It can be abused, but it can be pure. But in my particular purpose, it's about helping every soul to fill their own voids, realize their own connection, and create the bridge up the dimensional ladder of all aspects of themselves to the highest eternal identity without any other beings capping them, without them needing to enter anyone else's ascension matrix, because they have their direct path, they have their direct keys, and I help activate that in them. So that's where it's brought me to. And it wasn't as simple as that. I had to deconstruct my masculine top dog consciousness, meaning I'm the top dog. Okay, there's no one else that's above me. So I had to get that consciousness and really enter to a tone of equality where I could really embrace the purity of my heart. And that took the conscious genetic recalibration of the distorted astral masculine energy that got bonded into humanity a long time ago, that isn't inherent to our human angelic DNA. So that purification process took a while, and I'm not saying I'm completely liberated and free from that. However, we've reached a point, my wife and I, in doing this work together, where we've really equalized, stabilized, anchored, and sealed a still point consciousness, a zone of peace, an inner peace that echoes throughout our life, that we meet each other in. And that's the greatest reward of doing this work.
I'm so struck by everything you're sharing, and what comes to mind is how we are moving from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age. And this is so much what you're talking about the Piscean age was so much about hierarchy and lack of transparency, and at times corruption, and very much the teacher-student division. And as we move into the Aquarian age, it's about equality and sharing and transparency and our own divine connection. And it's interesting to me as well, because as a psychotherapist, I was very much indoctrinated in that same type of consciousness that you're talking about, of a hierarchy, as being an expert in someone else's life. And I never resonated with that. And the work that I do with my clients, it's so similar to what you're saying. I help them just connect to their own inner guidance, their own inner power. And it's not through me in any way. So some interesting parallels there.
Yes, and there is through the tone of equality in our surrendering to that highest consciousness, creator, divine, cosmic Christ consciousness, the true source, first source, that highest infinite intelligence of love that has created all life. In serving to that, the old patriarchal hierarchies fall away, and this new divine architecture anchors, where it doesn't mean sometimes someone will show up in my life who's meant to be a guide and a mentor, and in surrendering directly to that divine source, something will come through that person to support me, and I kind of allow it's like I don't have to put everyone on the same level, because there's a sacred architecture of dispensation that's flowing, and I'm okay being someone's mentor. I'm okay with someone mentoring me, as long as I trust the architecture, and we're all evolving together and playing different roles at different times. And I've also accepted that certain souls, through their dedication, their willingness, their training, are called to hold certain positions and certain posts of dispensation, and have attuned their physical body to receive codes, frequencies, transmissions first on the first wave, translate them, and then send them out. And that as long as that doesn't get to that person's head, where that person is all these people are getting blessed by that person, and then they start thinking, oh, wow, this is, this is amazing, I must be this and that, and they identify with that, the ego construct. What happens, the thing that isn't spoken about much, is when we reach a certain dimensional level, there's the heaviest targeting. It's when we've reached this place of spiritual maturity where we're ready to lead, and we start leading and people start giving us our power. That's when, out of the woodwork, all these temptations come in subtle ways, and basically they are beings who are very highly intelligent, that if we're not in complete discernment about it, will offer us activations, DNA activations, in a reversal order, and then start plugging in what's called holographic inserts, giving us memories and past life memories, making us think we're some grand identity from the past. Then we start identifying with that, and then there's little leaks, and then we can start getting hijacked. I've had so many beautiful souls who step into leadership fall, I would call it, victim to this uh, um, either savior identification or this ego trip of who they are, and they position themselves in such a way that caps all of their students, and then they become an open portal for these other energies to give people false pseudo religious and spiritual activations, and then everyone is in a false ascension matrix, appearing to evolve, appearing to have great transformations, but it's sideways, and they're looping instead of this direct organic ascension path. So I'm all about everyone claiming their true role, their true path, their true power, and being humble enough to know when to really receive from others that are meant to be their mentor for a phase of life.
Yes, yes, so beautifully said. And as you said, just running everything through our own guidance system at the end, no matter whatever we are taking in. And I wondered if I could ask you, um, for those people who are listening and who maybe have heard the term divine union and maybe feel a soul draw to being in a divine union, could you speak of how you define a divine union and what you think the purpose of divine unions are on the planet, and then how might someone sort of start their own journey to come into divine union?
Sure. Since I was a kid, a teenager, I had this feeling in my heart that there was this prearranged energetic match, this soulmate, this reflection. I didn't have any titles for it. I just had this feeling that there was someone that the divine had for me. It was already ordained in the highest realm. And then through societal imprints and heartaches and heartbreaks and traumas and distortions, I kind of forgot about that and went along the natural path of dating and relationships. And um, I had the normal kind of conditioning of how our parents' love with each other and us can condition our hearts. So, for example, um, I was one who was kind of avoidant in the sense of, if you were really into me, I wasn't going to fully commit to you. But then the few times that I felt called to commit to someone was the people who couldn't commit to me. So I just had that weird cycle of um, of relationships and heartache and heartbreak and guilt for not being able to commit to people. And then throughout my life in the awakenings, I kept coming back to this awareness. Wait. There's actually a divine union for me. There's a divinely orchestration. There's a being who has my soul signature tattooed on her heart by the creator, him herself. And that's what I want. And I had too many leaks in my what we call the devotional template to hold on to that. I would go through phases where I was, okay, I'm going to be celibate and wait for her. But then there was like other tests. There's all kinds of different temptations and tests. So I was working on what's called the inner wholeness architecture, the devotional template, coming to a place where I finally could say, I'm no longer willing to soothe the inner heartache and deep pain that I actually feel, not only for myself, but for my ancestors and humanity, with dating, with any substance, with anything. And I'm really, really committed to following my highest divine path and my mission. And when I really anchored that in, which took a lot of trial and error, and I reverse engineered the sequence, which is what we teach in Divine Union Alchemy, finally she came into my life. And so, and by the way, prior to this, I heard terms like twin flame, and I paid for all kinds of twin flame activations, probably spent thousands of dollars on twin flame coaches activations. It did nothing for me because it was still, there's what's called a false twin flame grid. Not to say that all twin flame teachers aren't the real deal, because there are likely ones who are tuning into the true frequency of divine union. For me, and to answer your question very, clearly, is divine union is when two individuals are both so surrendered to the divine up the highest dimensional levels, having brought back their aspects who are trying to source externally and are willing to be in full devotion and source all they need from the divine, and then through their desire for the right counterpart reflection match who's the highest evolutionary ascension mate on this journey, all the way home into the full consciousness of reunion, liberation, individuation, sovereignty, wholeness, freedom, our ascension mate, our monadic mate. That person is brought to us not through our own manifestation, not through calling it in, not through writing a list, not through our own ego agenda, but through our devotional sharing of our desire in our surrendered state. Then that divine presence anchors the orchestration to bring us together in perfect harmony, and we're so matched that everything that we need to heal together and resolve together, everything in our life, is perfectly sequenced and orchestrated to lift us into the highest union and the highest individuation of sovereignty. While we merge, we evolve and ascend into our own mastery to the point where we're one, but we don't need each other. It's not like, I don't see it in the same way of like we need each other to complete, but in this perfect surrender orchestration, the process occurs effortlessly, naturally, in a beautiful way. Now, every divine union has a different architecture. So I can't say every divine union has to look like this, or it's a twin flame, or it's this or that, but it is a divine monadic restoration of you to your highest potential, your highest path, and it clicks and it works. And the love that's there is there beyond duality conditioning. It's there beyond the highest dimension of this galaxy. It exists in the still point beyond time and space. When you surrender everything and your ego surrenders and you finally let go of the fear of death and you enter through the gateway of stillness and your love is present there, your love with your divine union is present there. And that's where it is, that's where it exists, and there's nothing that can corrode it. However, it's the most powerful type of love union that exists on this planet. When that match is there, we used to have civilizations in ancient times built on councils of these divine unions, guiding humanity, guiding the particular tribe. Divine unions were targeted specifically by infiltrating consciousness who wanted to siphon and take over humanity. Most divine unions have been through so much on a deep causal soul level, hardship, being split apart through cunning, conniving, tricky ways, that the process of coming back together with your divine union requires you to face the deepest pain in your soul and have the willingness to go back through your records, through your memory, not just in this lifetime and heal your childhood, but through all timelines, to go to the first causal moment. What's the split between you and your original union on this planet, in this galaxy, all the way, and begin to heal and restore that and reclaim. And we're all about here helping people reclaim the original template and the original union that is part of your ascension path, your evolutionary path. And there's a divine orchestration, a divine architecture to this, that for some it feels very far out, but then when we surrender into it, and if it resonates and you open your heart, and then you realize, wow. And when you meet when I've met Saskia, so many powerful miracle synchronizations, synchronicities, alignments, symmetries, magic, shared memories. We went back and traced together the last time we were together, which was in Lemuria, in that timeline, everything that happened in every fall, everything that happened all the way back. We went crazy, like full-time 80-hour weeks, like going into this process when we were together to resolve this and to get back to every little mistake we made through angelic naivety, to trust the forces that were disguising themselves as benevolent, and all the different ways that our angelic naivety allowed us to trust the wrong force, and how that led to a fall of consciousness or a split, and resolve that and reclaim our discernment, our wisdom, our power, our purity, our soul through every level until we could unite. And then we're seeing divine unions come together and unite. And as more divine unions come together and unite, and we create a grid between us, and we're anchoring something that an individual cannot anchor on its own. I used to always say, look, everyone's sovereign. We don't need anyone. And I was so, proud to be a sovereign individual, but there is something that can't anchor on the planet when there's not that divine union template between two souls who've devoted themselves, come into alignment, or anchoring this. Then when unions come together and we start forming this bridge, this is the birth of this new councilship and this architecture that can actually birth a really highly evolved, illuminated culture and society. And so recreating, like you said, the Aquarian age, a new culture, a new societal architecture built on devotion, built on love and truth and alignment and discernment, and us being able to remember everything that's happened, face everything, reclaim the power and the wisdom, put in the new boundaries, put in the new protocols, and let's go, let's create, let's activate together.
Amen, brother. Oh my gosh, that was just such a beautiful anthem that you just shared with us. I'm all fired up. And would you say that if listener out there has that same type of feeling that you so poetically described of, I just feel there is someone divinely out there for me, it's been divinely orchestrated, that like anything, that we can just really trust that knowingness, that we can't even explain it, but we just have that feeling?
Yeah. We need to honor that and get through. What happens is life has so many things that can happen, and people, ex-partners, show up in specific ways that can be so hurtful that we may develop numbing shields over our true heart's desire. And so it's really important to really hold ourselves, to really be willing to face and feel through the numbing shield, so we can get to the quintessence of what we actually desire, what we long for. And there were phases of life where I deluded, tricked myself in thinking I was okay with a specific kind of relationship, when what I wanted was absolute pure devotion and loyalty from the one meant for me. But I hadn't offered that first to creator, source, God, however you want to word that beautiful source of all love and life. And so as we go through the restoration of that, everything you want from the external, you offer that first into your higher connection and higher self. Then it's time to look through your life and look through any ways that you felt inadequate, not enough, and that have been sourcing through the subtlest of things, through a coffee addiction, through Netflix, through keeping in touch with your ex-partner who still wants you just because it makes you feel good that they're texting you still, and really getting really clear on all those little subtle things that you're allowing that isn't actually part of your highest path, and then getting very vigilant in asking for what you need to do to become the energetic sealed match for what you actually want, and then taking action on that and unweaving all the unspoken energetic cords between you, all your ex-partners, all your prophetic future projections, all the false twins, all the false ascended masters, and all false beings across the timelines, until you are fully sealed, and then restoring that heart connection, healing the divine union splits, calling your inner union in, and creating that architecture where you become magnetic to them. So that's the sequence that we teach in Divine Union Alchemy, and it's very powerful in how it creates the inner sovereignty required to be magnetic to what you truly desire.
Yes, I love it so much. And it's so simple, this as within, so without, that when I love that word you've been using, devotion, when we devote ourselves to spirit, to our highest purpose, letting go of all the other distractions, addictions, numbing things that we do, then, and we seal that in, then it eventually materializes in the divine partner on the external. It's so actually simple. Perhaps not easy, but it's a fairly simple formula that we can follow.
It's a super simple formula, but it's more difficult, the self-honesty and the subtle discernment to know where we need to resolve, and the subtleties of how on a multidimensional quantum level we can still be hooked or corded by certain forces, beings, X's that are holding us back from actually being open to receive what we want. And
Yes.
I had to let go of specific friends, patterns, and a particular relationship and a particular aspect of my own identity to get to the point to really attract Saskia, and just being really real and honest. And then to the point where I also had to let go of this idea that I can do it all on my own. And then that's the kind of place I got to when I hit rock bottom emotionally. I was willing to then offer myself to that divine presence, and then listen to where to get some support. And then I listened where to ask for help. And then I followed the guidance that came through the surrender that even though I was so spiritually advanced, my ego structure still was holding on to this idea I can do it. And instead of bowing to my neediness to the one source, creator, Christ, whatever, someone's highest wording is, I allowed myself to be needy, which was a phenomena because I'm so about sovereignty, to the one. And that actually helped me surrender and humble my heart to allow myself to restore the devotional template and become truly sovereign instead of false sovereign, which is what happens to most people on the first wave of their awakening, as they become, I'm one with God and I need nothing and blah blah blah, and it creates this mass buildup, when really it's like, actually the third dimensional me that is still here is so needy on my higher self. And I'm not going to pretend that all aspects of me are fully enlightened God beings, because I'm going to be real and honest with the fact that I'm not perfected and we're not meant to be perfected. And in that humility, this braiding started happening, and my wounded aspects that I had rejected because I wanted to appear evolved and unified started coming up. And then the real work started, and then I really got honest. And then that's the process of integrating all aspects of ourselves we rejected throughout all timelines until we can unify with that true divine presence of our eternal identity, which anchors here in such a beautiful energy of invincible love. And it's a very powerful, palpable energy as it enters in. We all have that capacity and that potential and that alignment, but it doesn't come through self-aggrandizement. It comes through the deep devotional path that is humble to the one, and yet claiming with fierce devotional commitment truth as our foundation.
Amen. I'm really struck by your use of the word needy and neediness, and being able to embody that towards our higher self. I love just how you said that, because I haven't heard it said quite in the way that you've articulated it. And I'll just share that it's been an interesting journey for me, because like what you shared, there was a lot of trauma in my childhood, and a lot of feeling very much alone and needs not met. And then throughout my adulthood, I would say maybe up until more of my awakening, I was trying to source from other, partners, and just not, again, really feeling that I had that wholeness inside of me. And then eventually through awakening, understanding that it was to be found within inside myself and my own divine connection. But it's nice to just land on that we can be needy towards spirit and our higher self, that because gosh, it can just feel like a lot of pressure to just, as you said, be this like 3D sovereign self, not needing anything from anyone per se. But I just really find that comforting.
Yes, it is. And it's comforting to know that that divine presence we can bring in, we can bring into every feeling, every aspect, every pocket of consciousness that we felt was too dark, every pain that felt too much, every part that is feeling needy. We can really source that. And that's the art that will stabilize any relationship, is when two beings can start to cultivate the art of sourcing from their divine self. And so all the aspects, all the wounded aspects, we train, instead of going to the other and pulling whatever they need, understanding what didn't they get growing up that they wanted, then what do they want right now? Well, we source that in. We can source that frequency, that consciousness energy. We give it to ourselves first, and then when we show up to our partner, there's not the pull, and there's a vulnerable, transparent expression. And what's the phenomenal thing is, when we really do the self-sourcing correctly, the partner just shows up and just offers us what we really want, because we've given it to ourselves, versus when we feel reactive and we say, I deserve my partner to listen to me because this happened and that happened. And then we go from that reactive place. You said this, you did this, and I want you to hear me. They'll often get defensive and not give what we want. And so that's what Saskia and I realized, is that we're never going to come to each other from a place of pulling on each other's field, subtly or in any way. We're going to really work with our own inner template of sovereignty, of wholeness, and then we can make invitations, requests from that platform. And it's really, really worked for us to create harmony in our union. And it wasn't perfect. We had aspects in the beginning that just didn't know how to be held, because of the collapsed level. The codependency runs so thick in this culture, society, the romanticism of the heart conditioning, and what we expect. We had to do a full rehaul of all of that back into what we call, divine union architecture. And divine union starts within. Divine union it starts within, and then that actualizes without, in the external, and then it blossoms into the Trinity, with the family unit. Then it blossoms into the monad getting together and building on the land, the community, and then the civilization. And then it's the enlightened, illuminated consciousness of what is actually supposed to be here on the planet. The way that this society is supposed to be structured is on divine union itself, but it all got reversed and infiltrated, and we're working on resolving that from the inside out through this work.
So beautifully expressed. And it makes me just think of that, this new world that divine unions are helping to anchor in is about each being just divinely connected directly. And that is literally how we bring the divine onto this planet, how we create a divine community, rather than this sourcing just from each other and not bringing through the divine. It's again very simple. Like, we're supposed to bring through the divine. We're supposed to be these divine vessels. In shamanic terms, the hollow bone. I always love that term. And I'm just wondering, could you share, for anyone listening that might think, okay, this all sounds great, but like, how do I actually feel that connection in a tangible way? It sounds great to source from the divine, but how do I really tangibly experience that?
Okay. Well, let's go into a 5-minute experience, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, because I know we only have an hour. And
Great.
let's be open to the possibility of whoever's listening having a deepening of that devotional communion.
Wonderful.
So let's close our eyes. And as we close our eyes, I'm going to invite you, wherever you are, to call all of your energy into your body. Just with your intention in your own mind, you can say, I call myself to myself. And then use your name and say this internally. You don't have to say it out loud. You can say, I and your name, call myself to myself. And as you call yourself to yourself, feel your energy come into your body. Feel your connection to the earth. If you love to visualize, you can visualize your energy grounding into the earth as deep as you feel guided to ground. Let that energy of the earth come through your body, up your central column. And invite your higher self to anchor a pillar of light from the highest realm all the way down into your physical body and grounding all the way into the earth. So you could just say in your own mind silently, I call upon my higher self to anchor a pillar of light into my body from the highest realm. Opening your heart, visualizing now a platform of light below you in the room you're in, and a temple of light surrounding the room you're in, creating your own temple space with a pillar of light anchoring from the heart of God, source, creator of all that is, through the center of your room into the core of the earth. We're stabilizing your own personal temple space, and then we're creating a platform of light below all of us who want to be connected to this, and a temple of light surrounding all of us now, a pillar of light anchoring the space as we call upon the divine, creator, God, source to be present, our higher selves to be present. We call upon a temple of divine union alchemy surrounding us now. We ask that all interferences, distortions, distractions, remote viewers be removed from our temple space now. And I invite you to give permission for your higher self to work on you on all levels for your highest and best. If you give that permission to your higher self, to the divine now, I invite you to say yes silently or out loud. And for some of you that are guided to receive my support, my assistance, if you are guided to receive that, you get a green light from your higher self, and you would like me, Lucas Diamond, to also work on you on all levels for your highest and best, and your highest and best only, I also invite you to say yes now. If you give yourself permission to release what you're here to release and receive what you're here to receive, I invite you to say yes now. And so we've set the space. Now that we've set the space, I'm going to invite you to feel into your heart and feel into the depth through any walls of pain or numbing or apathy. just like a bulldozer, go into the core, to the core, to the core of your heart, to the deepest longing, to the ways beyond the ways that your exes hurt you or that your parents disappointed you, beyond the deepest soul fracturing of the heart that may have happened. There is a deep longing for reunion, for devotional embrace, for safety, for harmony, for coming home. And if that is there for you, that desire, that longing, just go to it. Just go to that feeling and be willing to be needy. But instead of seeking that from anything or anyone else, call upon the presence of the divine into that pain, into that neediness. So open your heart and then just say, God, source, divine, higher self, whichever resonates with you, I offer all of myself to you. On some level, I've been trying to do it on my own. I've been trying to source through external means, people, addictions, patterns. But really, what I really want is you and what you have for me. And I want to share with you that your deepest heart's desires are what God's source wants for you and has for you. So if you have in your heart a desire to be met in divine union, physically, by your divine union partner, the divine has that for you. And so feel all the feelings that might be there. Maybe frustration, it hasn't happened yet. Maybe shame for choices that you've made. Maybe old pockets of resentment or hurt. Maybe you're even mad at the divine. That's all welcome. Invite the divine presence into your feeling body, into your heart, into your ache, to feel it with you, to know you, to love you, to understand you. You are completely loved and embraced and accepted for all that you are. There's nothing that you've done and no aspect of you that isn't forgiven and embraced and restored in the full embrace of that heavenly embrace of the one true Father, Mother, God, Source. Let it in. Let the embrace in and offer yourself and your life to your highest path, your highest heroic probability, your highest mission, your highest service, and be willing in devotion to live your life on your highest path for what your soul, your higher self, has for you to do. Align to that mission, that purpose, codex, that highest pathway, and say in your own being, in your own heart, yes, I will align and follow through on my highest path and my highest mission. And share your desire with the divine presence for that divine union partner. And allow that desire to be filled in by the divine presence. It's not going to take away the desire, it's going to purify that desire. And it's going to fill the space within you that your divine union is supposed to be until they arrive. And so you'll become magnetic, not from a place of need or unhealthy longing, but a place of your own devotional alignment directly purifying that desire until it becomes a magnetic song that allows the divine to bring that person to you. And be all in. Be all in to your highest life, to the life that your higher self has for you. Go all in and be willing to let go of anything and anyone and any pattern and any comfort that no longer serves you. So the question is, are you ready to do that? Are you willing to do that? And are you willing to be all into your highest self and your highest life, your highest path, and to listen and to say no when you're meant to say no, say yes when you're meant to say yes, and open to the highest receptivity of what is meant for you on the highest level? If this is the case, I invite you to say yes now. So we're going to sit 1 more minute in silence. Stillness is the entry point even deeper into communion. And just with your intention to enter into the gateway of the still point of communion with the divine source, to be recharged, refilled. And let's do that together now for the next minute in silence. Taking your time to receive, ground, and integrate everything that you were meant to receive today, as we give great thanks to that inner divine union. Say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.
Oh, thank you so much, Lucas. That felt so beautiful. And I hope beautiful to everyone who listens to this and can replay it with the great guided meditation to the divine inner divine union. Lucas, where can people find out more about you and your offerings, especially the Divine Union Alchemy course? That's so amazing.
Yes, my wife Saskia and I teach that together. We have a site, divineunionalchemy.com. You can email us at divineunionalchemy@gmail.com. And happy to share with you everything on the horizon. We're so excited to be now training other practitioners to facilitate this work so that it can go out there and touch more souls in this beautiful process. My personal site for the other work that I do is lucasdiamond.com, and that's multifaceted, integrated life mastery and business development in a soul aligned way. And can reach out to me also on Facebook at Lucas Diamond Official is the what you put at the end of the Facebook .com/ Lucas Diamond Official. Find me there. Hey, and that's it. The main thing, that the message that I've been guided to share today is about a deepening of trust. When we surrender, sometimes we're afraid, if I let this go, will I be taken care of? Will I be held? Yes. Trust, have faith, deepen this faith, and live your life from that place. And let's heal everything that gets in the way of that faithful path, because it will take you all the way.
Beautiful. My given middle name is Faith. And I think for so many of us on this path, that's the only way to be guided is with our faith and our trust. And at times it can be very challenging to the human when we're in those void spaces, when it's all fallen down, we've surrendered and let go of it all. And then we have the faith that we will be led forward on that highest path, that highest extraordinary timeline. So
we all have parts of ourselves that lose faith, and I want to encourage everyone to realize that you can take the reins to become the one that has the faith, and then redistribute the faith and talk through it with your aspects. And there's a lot of times I needed to allow an aspect to talk through it to recover my faith. So let every part of you come in and dialogue into union, and then let's build from that place a beautiful new culture of honoring everyone's incredible quintessence and beauty.
Yes, let's get there. Very exciting. Let's do it.
Yes.
So exciting. Thank you so much, Lucas. You're such a just beautiful being in every way. Thank you for spending your precious time here with us today and sharing your precious consciousness and downloads. And we're just really grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Tassel. It's been an honor to be here, and much love to you and everyone listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the listeners. And please check out Lucas's offerings. I'm currently taking his Divine Union Alchemy course, and he and his wife are just amazing. And I just feel it's such a gift. So I hope if you're drawn to it, you'll check that out. And until next time, so much love to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for joining Dr. Tassel Faith, Priestess of Metamorphosis, on your road to transformation and freedom. Each step takes you closer to becoming an awakened, empowered, courageous, and a moves mountains kind of person. Join us again, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month at 12 noon Eastern Time for more guidance and encouragement. Until then, lead with your magic, trust the unseen, experience quantum leaps.